Have you ever wondered why you feel so exhausted, even when you're doing everything right? You're there for everyone. You help, you listen, you support. But somehow, you feel hollow inside, empty, like you're living someone else's life, while your own dreams quietly die in the background. Here's what no one tells you. You cannot reach your highest potential while living at someone else's pace. You cannot become who you're meant to be when you're too busy being who everyone else needs you to be. Abraham Maslow discovered something revolutionary. He studied the healthiest, most fulfilled people in history: Einstein, Eleanor Roosevelt, people who changed the world, and found they all had one thing in common. They prioritized their own growth, not selfishly, but necessarily, because they understood that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot inspire others while suffocating yourself. Maslow called this self-actualization, becoming the fullest expression of yourself. But here's the catch. You can't reach it if you're stuck at the bottom of the pyramid, constantly scrambling to meet everyone else's demands. Think about Maslow's hierarchy. At the base, we have physiological needs: food, rest, safety, then belonging and love, then esteem and respect. And at the very top, self-actualization, creativity, purpose, becoming who you truly are. But most people never reach the top. You know why? Because they're trapped in an endless loop of seeking validation, approval, and acceptance from others. They sacrifice their peak potential just to avoid disappointing people who wouldn't do the same for them. Every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you abandon your own projects to fix someone else's problems, every time you silence your own needs to keep the peace, you're choosing survival over thriving. You're choosing to exist instead of truly live. This video isn't about becoming selfish. It's about understanding something Maslow proved decades ago. The most generous, impactful people are those who take care of their own growth first. Because when you're self-actualized, when you're operating from your highest self, you have infinitely more to give the world. So I'm asking you now, how much longer will you delay your own becoming? How much longer will you treat your dreams, your growth, your potential as optional luxuries that come after everyone else's needs are met? Maybe it's time to climb higher, because when you stop settling for survival, everything changes. Choosing your own growth. Unapologetically, you've been conditioned to believe that selflessness means sacrificing yourself, that being a good person means putting everyone else first, always. But here's a truth that might shock you. This isn't virtue, it's self-abandonment. Maslow studied this extensively. He found that people who neglect their own growth, their own needs, desires, and potential, don't just stagnate. They become resentful, anxious, and disconnected from their true purpose. They develop what he called metapathology, the sickness that comes from living below your potential. Think about Maslow's hierarchy like a building. If the foundation is constantly cracking because you're giving away the bricks to build everyone else's houses, the whole structure becomes unstable. You can't reach self-actualization when your basic needs for rest, autonomy, and respect are being violated daily. Safety needs. When you're always available, you have no boundaries, no emotional safety. You're in constant crisis mode, reacting to everyone else's urgency. Belonging needs. You think over-availability creates connection, but it actually prevents genuine intimacy. People relate to your function, not your authentic self. Esteem needs. How can others respect you when you don't respect your own time, energy, or limits? Respect isn't given to what's always available. It's earned by those who value themselves. But here's where it gets interesting. Maslow discovered that self-actualized people, the ones living their fullest potential, they actually have fewer but deeper relationships. They don't need constant validation because they have something more valuable: self-respect. They understand that peak experiences, those moments of pure fulfillment, creativity, and purpose, cannot happen when you're scattered across 100 shallow obligations. Peak experiences require focus, energy, and the space to become absorbed in meaningful work. When was the last time you experienced flow? That state where time disappears and you're completely immersed in something that matters to you. If you can't remember, it's because you've been too busy being available for everyone else's flow. Maslow also talked about deficiency needs versus growth needs. Deficiency needs are about what you lack: approval, security, belonging. Growth needs are about what you can become: creative, purposeful, transcendent. Most people stay trapped in deficiency mode their entire lives, chasing approval, avoiding rejection, living small to fit others' expectations. But the self-actualized person, they've met their basic needs by setting boundaries, and now they're free to pursue growth. The paradox is this: the less available you become to distractions, the more available you become to your destiny. You cannot write the book inside you while constantly answering messages. You cannot build your business while managing everyone else's emotional crises. You cannot discover your life's purpose while living everyone else's script. So ask yourself, are you living in deficiency or growth? Are you surviving or self-actualizing? Are you becoming who you're meant to be? Or are you just being who everyone else needs right now? Because the truth is simple. Your highest contribution to humanity isn't your constant availability. It's your full actualization. The world doesn't need another exhausted people pleaser. It needs you at your best, operating from your highest potential, living your purpose. And that requires something radical: choosing your own growth, unapologetically. In the next part, we'll explore why protecting your growth isn't selfish, it's necessary, and how the people truly worth having in your life will actually respect you more when you finally respect yourself. Self-actualized people are often misunderstood. Maslow made a controversial discovery. He found that self-actualized people are often misunderstood. Why? Because they operate from a different value system than most of society. While others chase approval, self-actualized people chase authenticity. While others avoid conflict to maintain shallow peace, self-actualized people pursue truth even when it's uncomfortable. While others need constant external validation, self-actualized people have developed inner directedness. They're guided by their own compass, not the crowd's opinion. And here's what happens when you start prioritizing your own growth. People get uncomfortable. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your evolution threatens their stagnation. Your boundaries remind them of their lack of boundaries. Your focus highlights their distraction. Your self-respect exposes their self-abandonment. Maslow called this the Jonah complex, the fear of one's own greatness. Most people are terrified of their potential, so they sabotage themselves. They stay small, stay safe, stay stuck. And when someone in their circle starts breaking free, they try to pull them back down. You'll hear, "You've changed. You're not yourself anymore. You're becoming selfish." But here's the translation. You're no longer playing the role I needed you to play. You're no longer convenient. You're no longer controllable. This is the price of growth. And self-actualized people pay it willingly because they understand something crucial. You cannot become extraordinary while seeking universal approval. Maslow's research showed that self-actualized individuals share specific characteristics: autonomy, They need solitude to recharge and create resistance to enculturation. They think independently, not following the herd problem-centered. They focus on meaningful challenges, not social drama. Acceptance. They accept reality as it is, including the fact that not everyone will understand them. These aren't cold people. They're liberated people. They have deep, authentic relationships, just fewer of them. They love fully, but selectively. They contribute massively, but strategically. When you stop being available to everyone, you become available to what matters most: your mission, your growth, your purpose, the people who genuinely value you. Maslow also discussed B values, being values, the intrinsic qualities that self-actualized people embody: truth, beauty, justice, meaning. These aren't things you pursue while exhausted, scattered, and overextended. These are qualities that emerge when you have the space, energy, and clarity to operate from your highest self. The most successful, fulfilled, impactful people aren't the ones who are available 24/7. They're the ones who protect their peak performance zones. They understand that saying no to the trivial is how you say yes to the essential. But let's be clear, this isn't about arrogance. Self-actualized people are actually more compassionate, more generous, more effective at helping others. But they help from overflow, not depletion. They give from strength, not weakness. The irony? When you finally prioritize your growth, when you become unavailable for nonsense and fully available for your purpose, you become exponentially more valuable to the right people. You stop being an emotional crutch and become an inspiration. You stop enabling dependency and start modeling sovereignty. You stop being used and start being respected. And yes, you'll lose people. Maslow knew this. Every actualized person does. But what you lose in quantity, you gain in quality. What you lose in shallow connections, you gain in depth, meaning, and mutual growth. In the next part, we'll talk about how to practically make this shift, how to move from deficiency living to growth living, how to identify what deserves your energy and what's stealing your potential. It's time to climb the hierarchy. It's time to become who you're meant to be. Practical self-actualization, climbing your own hierarchy. Understanding Maslow's principles intellectually means nothing if you don't apply them. Self-actualization isn't a destination. It's a daily practice of choosing growth over comfort, authenticity over approval, purpose over popularity. Here's how to start. Step 1. Audit your energy against the hierarchy. Look at your daily life honestly. Are your basic needs actually met? Are you getting enough sleep, eating properly, moving your body? You cannot self-actualize while running on empty. Then examine your relationships. Are they based on mutual growth and genuine connection? Or are they draining, one-sided, and rooted in obligation? Maslow found that self-actualized people have quality relationships, not quantity. Step 2. Identify your peak experiences. When do you feel most alive, most yourself, most in flow? These moments reveal your path to self-actualization. Maybe it's when you're creating, teaching, building, or exploring ideas. Now ask, how much of your week is dedicated to these experiences? If the answer is almost none, you've found your problem. You're giving your prime energy to obligations while your potential sits untouched. Step 3. Practice strategic unavailability. This doesn't mean ghosting people. It means prioritizing growth-oriented activities over distractions. Set specific times for deep work, for your projects, your learning, your creative pursuits. During these times, you are unavailable, not because you're rude, but because you're respecting your own growth. Maslow's subjects didn't become extraordinary by accident. They became extraordinary by protecting the conditions that allowed excellence to emerge. Step 4. Embrace healthy selfishness. Maslow distinguished between selfish, taking from others, and self-full, taking care of yourself so you can genuinely help others. Self-actualized people are self-full. They fill their own cup first, then share the overflow. This means saying no to energy vampires, drama, and obligations that don't align with your values. It means disappointing people who expect you to sacrifice your growth for their convenience. Step 5. Pursue B values, not deficiency needs. Stop chasing approval and start chasing truth, beauty, excellence, meaning. These intrinsic values create lasting fulfillment, while external validation creates endless hunger. Ask yourself, is this action moving me toward my highest potential? Or is it just managing others' perceptions of me? The rebirth. Living at your peak. When you commit to self-actualization, something profound happens. At first, there's discomfort, guilt for prioritizing yourself, anxiety about others' reactions, uncertainty about who you are beyond your people-pleasing persona. But gradually, something shifts. The guilt transforms into self-respect. The anxiety transforms into clarity. The uncertainty transforms into confidence in your authentic self. You begin experiencing what Maslow called peak experiences more frequently, moments of profound meaning, where you're completely present, completely alive, completely yourself. You stop asking, "What will they think?" and start asking, "What does my highest self require?" You stop living from deficiency and start living from abundance. You stop being shaped by circumstances and start shaping your reality intentionally. The people who can't handle your growth will leave. And that's okay, because the people who stay, the ones who respect your boundaries, celebrate your evolution, and match your energy, these become your genuine tribe. Not your audience, not your users, your tribe. Maslow discovered that self-actualized people experience B-love, being love, rather than D-love, deficiency love. D-love needs. B-love gives freely, appreciates deeply, and wants the other to grow. Your evolved relationships will reflect this. You'll find that protecting your growth isn't selfish. It's the greatest gift you can give. Because the world doesn't need more people living in quiet desperation. It needs people who've said yes to their potential, who've climbed their hierarchy, who've become fully alive. And when you do this, when you finally honor your own becoming, you inspire others simply by existing. Not through your advice, but through your presence. Not through your sacrifice, but through your wholeness. This is the paradox Maslow understood. The most self-directed people create the most positive impact because they're not trying to prove anything. They're not performing for approval. They're simply expressing their actualized selves, and that expression naturally elevates everyone around them. Take action now. So I'm asking you one final time. Are you ready to climb your hierarchy? Are you ready to treat your growth as non-negotiable? Are you ready to become unavailable for anything that doesn't serve your highest becoming? If this message resonates, write in the comments, "I choose my growth." Let's see how many people here are ready to become self-actualized, to reach their peak, to live their fullest potential. Remember, you're not here to survive. You're here to become. And that journey begins the moment you decide your potential matters more than their approval. The next video will expand on practical self-actualization. It's going to show you exactly how to maintain this commitment when the world pushes back. See you there. Thanks for watching. If this video gave you something to think about, drop a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it too.